The vast emptiness of space erupted with a brilliant flash as the UES Pioneer materialized from its quantum jump. Captain Sarah Chen stood at her command station, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic displays surrounding her. After 15 years of deep space exploration, she thought she'd seen everything the universe had to offer. She was wrong. Multiple contacts. Lieutenant Rodriguez's voice cut through the bridge's quiet hum. Massive vessels at bearing 340. Nothing in our database matches their configuration. The main display illuminated with the image of 3 colossal vessels, each one easily dwarfing the Pioneer by a factor of 20. Their hulls gleamed with an impossible metallic sheen that seemed to absorb and reflect light simultaneously, covered in patterns that defied human geometric understanding. Analysis. Chen asked, keeping her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. Their energy readings are off the charts, Captain. Chief Science Officer Puddle reported, his fingers dancing across his console. The technology gap between us and them. It's like comparing a stone axe to a fusion reactor. Before Chen could respond, every screen on the bridge flickered with the same message, appearing in perfect English. Unauthorized species DTCTED. Subunit to mediate classification and integration. Resistance will or is ULT in termination. UAV 300 CTO and HUCO Mapili. The bridge crew exchanged glances. They all knew the protocol for first contact situations. Establish peaceful communication, demonstrate non-hostile intent, and protect Earth's location at all costs. But this wasn't a first contact scenario they trained for. Options. Chen asked her senior staff. Their weapons could vaporize us before our shields even register the attack. Security Chief Yamamoto reported grimly. Traditional defense is suicide. What about non-traditional defense? Chen mused, an idea forming in her mind. Dr. Patel, those energy readings you mentioned, they're processing an enormous amount of data, aren't they? Yes, their computational capacity must be astronomical to maintain ships of that size. And they're actively scanning us, processing every bit of information about our ship. Continuously. They're probably building a complete model of our technology, culture, everything they can extract from our databases. A small smile crossed Chen's face. Then let's give them everything. Lieutenant Wang, prepare a data packet. I want you to dump our entire cultural database at them. Music, art, literature, social media, cat videos, cooking shows, reality TV, everything. Full bandwidth, all frequencies. Wang's eyes widened as he understood. Captain, that's over a zettabyte of data. The compression algorithms alone. Then don't compress it. Send it raw. Let's see how their systems handle the pure, unfiltered chaos of human creativity. The crew worked frantically, preparing the massive data dump. As the alien countdown reached its final minute, Chen gave the order. Send it. All of it. Let's show them exactly who they're dealing with. The effect was instantaneous. The alien vessel's perfect formation wavered as their systems struggled to process the tsunami of information. Their threatening message flickered and fragmented, replaced by confused bursts of human content they were inadvertently broadcasting back. And that's why you never use metal utensils on non-stick cookware. Echoed from one ship. All glory to the HFY flashed across another's hull in massive letters. They're trying to process everything at once, Paddle reported, barely containing his laughter. Their AI is attempting to understand why humans would watch other humans unbox products for entertainment. The alien vessel's perfect geometric patterns began shifting erratically, their surfaces rippling with fragments of human memes, viral videos, and pop culture references. Their commanding presence had been reduced to what looked like a cosmic version of a glitching computer screen. Finally, a new message appeared, this one noticeably less formal. CACE transmission. QUERI. Why do you humans require images of semi-alpha-lines puriformange? Ilogicials. Additional QERO. What is a recic Hallel. And what I is it BENDETECTED 47,283 times in this data stream. Chen leaned forward in her chair. Open a channel, she ordered. When Wang nodded, she spoke clearly and confidently. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the UES Pioneer. What you're experiencing is just a small sample of human culture. We have millions of years of history, art, and creativity to share. Would you like to know more? There was a long pause before the response came. The Scientist Line hierarchy way. EQESTS, clarification, and PERHAPES, additional CAT videos. Send them the entire cats of the Internet Archive. Chen ordered with a grin. All 30 years' worth. As her crew complied, Chen watched the alien vessels slowly shift from their attack formation into what almost looked like a gathering of friends sharing videos. First contact hadn't gone according to any protocol or plan in the manual. Instead, it had gone according to something far more powerful: humanity's endless capacity to create, share, and connect. Captain, Wang called out, they're sending us something back. It looks like their version of cat videos, but with crystalline entities that... He trailed off, staring at his screen in wonder. Put it on the main display, Chen ordered. After all, cultural exchange should go both ways. As the bridge crew watched the alien equivalent of pet videos, Chen made a note in her log. First contact with the crystalline hierarchy achieved. Weapons, unused. Shields, unused. TikTok videos, deployed in quantities sufficient to crash alien eye. Recommend updating first contact protocols to include section on weaponized mimetic warfare. She looked at her crew, all of them now completely engrossed in the alien videos. Well, she said to no one in particular, I guess this is how you make first contact in the social media age. High Administrators 6427 of the crystalline hierarchy stood before the Grand Council, their crystalline form flickering with patterns of distress. The massive chamber, usually a model of perfect geometric order, was in unprecedented disarray. The council members' crystalline forms pulsed with chaotic colors, their usual synchronized harmonies replaced by discordant frequencies. Explain, demanded First Resonator Val 891, their voice creating ripples of energy through the chamber. How a single human vessel has caused such disruption to our perfect order. Zix 427's form shifted uncomfortably. The humans, they don't follow any predictable patterns. Their data transmission wasn't a weapon in any conventional sense, yet it has infected our networks in ways we never anticipated. The display screens around the chamber showed evidence of the chaos. Crystalline workers were neglecting their assigned tasks to watch human entertainment. Young crystals were attempting to replicate human dance moves, causing concerning variations in their structural integrity. Even the hierarchy's strictly regulated information networks were being flooded with something called memes. Yesterday, Zix 427 continued. An entire processing hub shut down because our systems couldn't resolve a philosophical debate about whether a hot dog qualifies as a sandwich. The council chamber erupted in overlapping frequencies of alarm. This is unprecedented, declared Second Resonator Tech 665. Our society is built on perfect order, on absolute certainty. These humans introduce chaos. That's not the worst of it, Zix 427 admitted. Some of our younger crystals have begun creating things, non-functional things. They call it art. The chamber fell silent, a rare occurrence in crystalline society. Art was a foreign concept to their species. Everything they created served a specific practical purpose. The idea of creating something purely for aesthetic or emotional value was incomprehensible. "Show us," First Resonator Val 891 commanded. The central display activated, showing a group of young crystals. They had arranged themselves in complex patterns, refracting light in ways that served no practical purpose, but created stunning visual effects. They called it a light show, inspired by human music festivals. "This is spreading," Zix 427 reported. Crystals across all sectors are experimenting with what they call creativity. Some have even started generating random sound patterns they call music. "Can we not simply delete this human data from our networks?" asked Third Resonator Pel 194. "We tried." Zix 427's form flickered with embarrassment. "But our attempts to delete human culture have been met with resistance. Crystals are copying and sharing the data faster than we can erase it. They're using something they learned from humans called peer-to-peer networks." The council watched in horror as more displays activated, showing the spread of human influence throughout their society. Crystalline workers were taking breaks to watch human sports competitions. Administrative units were organizing movie nights. Someone had even created a crystalline version of social media, where crystals shared their attempts at human-style jokes and selfies. "There's more," Zix 427 continued reluctantly. "Some crystals have begun questioning our hierarchical structure. They're using human concepts like democracy and individual expression. Yesterday, a group of maintenance crystals demanded something called a weekend." First Resonator Val 891's form pulsed with deep concern. "And the humans, what do they make of this disruption they've caused?" "They've been enthusiastically supportive," Zix 427 reported. "Captain Chen of the Pioneer has been conducting what she calls cultural exchange workshops. Yesterday, she taught a group of administrative crystals how to play something called karaoke." The council chamber's perfect geometric architecture seemed to shudder at this news. Their society, built on millions of years of perfect order and predictability, was being transformed by cat videos and pop music. "We must make a decision," First Resonator Val 891 declared. "Either we completely isolate ourselves from human influence, or we adapt," interrupted a young crystal who had apparently entered the chamber unannounced. Another unprecedented occurrence. It was Lux 119, a research crystal who had been one of the first to interact with the humans. "Look at this," Lux 119 projected an image into the center of the chamber. It showed a collaboration between human artists and crystalline light shapers, creating something that combined the mathematical precision of crystalline patterns with the wild creativity of human art. The result was breathtaking. "We're not losing our identity," Lux 119 continued. "We're expanding it. Humans don't just create chaos, they find new patterns in it. They don't just break rules, they discover new ones. Their creativity isn't a threat to our order, it's an evolution of it." The chamber hummed with conflicting frequencies as the council processed this perspective. Finally, First Resonator Val 891 spoke. "Administrator Zix 427, what is your recommendation?" Zix 427 paused, their crystalline form shifting through various patterns before settling into a new configuration. One that somehow combined geometric precision with a distinctly human-inspired asymmetry. "The humans have a saying," they began. "If you can't beat them, join them. I suggest we do something unprecedented. We embrace the chaos, but we do it our way, with crystalline precision." The council chamber filled with a symphony of conflicting frequencies as the members debated. Outside, throughout the vast crystalline networks of their civilization, millions of crystals waited to see whether their society would retreat into its rigid past or step into an uncertain but infinitely more colorful future. In the deepest layers of the crystalline city, where maintenance tunnels formed a labyrinth of light and shadow, something unprecedented was taking shape. Lux 119 moved through the hidden passages, their crystalline form dimmed to avoid detection. They approached a section of wall that appeared perfectly ordinary, until it shimmered and revealed a vast chamber filled with hundreds of crystals arranged in random, distinctly non-hierarchical patterns. Password. Hummed a guard crystal. Lux 119 pulsed with a specific frequency. All we are saying is give peace a chance. The guard's form brightened in recognition, and Lux 119 entered what the young crystals had dubbed the Freestyle Zone, a hidden space where members of the Crystalline Society gathered to experiment with human concepts of freedom and creativity. Inside, the chamber was alive with activity. Young crystals practiced human dance moves, their forms throwing rainbow refractions across the walls. Others clustered around displays showing human movies, their forms resonating with new emotions they were just learning to process. In one corner, a group was attempting to recreate human music using their natural harmonics. Lux, you made it. The voice belonged to Nova 235, a maintenance crystal who had become one of the movement's leaders. Their forms sparkled with excitement. Another new behavior learned from humans. Wait until you see what we've discovered. Nova led Lux to a secluded area where several crystals were engaged in something that would have horrified the Council. They were playing. Specifically, they were playing a game they'd invented called human charades, where crystals tried to reshape themselves to represent human concepts and activities. Watch this. Nova pulsed with enthusiasm as a young crystal named Spark 776 began to change shape. Their form twisted and morphed until they had recreated, with crystalline precision, the image of a human dancing the Macarena. The watching crystals vibrated with barely contained laughter, yet another human concept they'd adopted. But that's not all. Nova continued, leading Lux deeper into the chamber. Show them. Echo. Echo 442, formerly a data storage crystal, projected a holographic display. We've been analyzing human creativity patterns, they explained. Look at this. The display showed a complex mathematical model combining crystalline precision with human creative chaos. We've discovered something extraordinary. Echo continued. Human creativity isn't random at all. It follows patterns, beautiful, complex patterns that our traditional models were too rigid to recognize. Lux studied the display with growing excitement. This could change everything. If we could show the Council that human chaos actually contains its own kind of order. Their discussion was interrupted by an alarm pulse. Council enforcers, the guard crystal warned. They're sweeping this sector. The gathered crystals quickly began to disperse, but Nova raised their voice. Wait. Remember what Captain Chen taught us about civil disobedience. Maybe it's time we stopped hiding. A murmur of nervous energy rippled through the chamber. Standing up to authority wasn't in their nature. Their society was literally crystallized around the concept of hierarchy and order. But something had changed in them. The human ideas of freedom and self-expression had resonated with something deep in their crystalline cores. They can't stop an idea, Spark 776 declared, still holding their Macarena pose. Isn't that what humans say? Before anyone could respond, the chamber's entrance dissolved, revealing a squad of enforcement crystals. Their forms were rigidly geometric, pulsing with authoritative frequencies. This gathering is unauthorized, their leader announced. Return to your assigned positions immediately. But instead of dispersing, something unprecedented happened. The gathered crystals began to sing, not in their traditional harmonic frequencies, but in a new way that combined crystalline resonance with human melody. They sang Imagine, the first human song they had learned, its message of unity and hope translated into pure crystalline tones. The enforcers stood frozen, their rigid forms vibrating in response to the unexpected harmony. Other crystals in nearby chambers, hearing the song, began to join in. The music spread through the crystalline network, reaching across the city. In the council chamber above, First resonator Val 891 was in the middle of a crisis meeting when the song reached them. They felt their ordered thoughts disrupted by the haunting melody, by the perfect fusion of crystalline precision and human emotion. What is happening to us? Third resonator Pel 194 demanded, their form flickering with distress. Evolution. Lux 119 answered, stepping forward. They had slipped into the council chamber during the confusion. Humans have shown us that change doesn't have to mean destruction. It can mean growth. To demonstrate, Lux projected Echo's mathematical model of human creativity. The council chamber filled with swirling patterns that were both chaotic and ordered, random and precise, crystalline and human. We are not losing our identity. Lux continued, their voice carrying the same harmonic complexity as the song still echoing through the city. We are expanding it. The humans haven't infected us with chaos. They've shown us that our order and their creativity can create something greater than either alone. Throughout the city, more and more crystals were joining the song. Young and old, high-ranking and low, they were discovering that their natural crystalline harmonics could create music that was uniquely their own, neither purely human nor purely crystalline, but something wonderfully new. In her quarters aboard the Pioneer, Captain Chen listened to the crystalline chorus with tears in her eyes. Now that, she said to her crew, is what I call cultural exchange. The Grand Council Chamber, once a model of crystalline perfection, had become a battlefield of ideologies. Light fractured through the space in chaotic patterns as council members vibrated with unprecedented emotional intensity. At the center of the chamber, First Resonator Val 891 faced the largest protest in their civilization's history. Thousands of crystals had gathered, their forms arranged not in traditional geometric patterns, but in fluid, expressive shapes. They pulsed with multicolored light in harmony with human music playing through their network. At their forefront stood Lux 119 and Nova 235, their forms seamlessly blending crystalline precision with human-inspired creativity. This ends now, Val 891 declared, their voice resonating with authority. We cannot allow this corruption of our perfect order to continue. Perfect. Lux 119 challenged, projecting images across the chamber. Look at what we've discovered since meeting the humans. The projection showed crystalline artists creating stunning light sculptures, musicians combining mathematical harmonics with human melodies, and young crystals developing new technologies inspired by human imagination. Each image demonstrated not chaos, but a higher form of order, one that embraced complexity rather than fearing it. We are not losing our identity. Nova 235 added, their form shifting through a series of elegant patterns. We are discovering who we truly are. From her position on the observation deck, Captain Chen watched the confrontation with her senior staff. The Pioneer had been invited to witness this historic moment. Though invited might have been too formal a word for the message they'd received, which included both a diplomatic request and something called a crystalline meme. Should we intervene? Lieutenant Rodriguez asked, watching as more crystals joined the protest, their combined light nearly blinding. Chen shook her head. This is their moment. We've shown them possibilities, but they need to choose their own path. In the chamber below, the debate reached a critical point as Second Resonator Tech 665 emerged from the council ranks. Their usually rigid form had begun to show signs of change. Subtle variations in pattern that would have been unthinkable weeks ago. I have been analyzing human history, Tech 665 announced. Their progress isn't despite their chaos, it's because of it. Their creativity, their willingness to question and change, drives their evolution. Meanwhile, we have remained static for millennia, claiming perfection while refusing to grow. Heresy, shouted Third Resonator Pel 194, but their voice wavered as the chamber filled with new harmonics, crystals beginning to sing. The song was neither human nor purely crystalline, but a fusion of both, mathematical precision carrying emotional depth that seemed impossible for their species. Val 891 raised their form to its full height, preparing to order the enforcement crystals to end the protest. But before they could speak, a new presence entered the chamber. It was Administrator Zix 427, but they had changed. Their crystalline form had evolved into something extraordinary, a perfect blend of hierarchical order and creative expression. "I have seen our future," Zix 427 announced, their voice carrying both authority and warmth. Another seemingly impossible combination. They projected their own set of images, crystals and humans working together on new technologies, creating art that defied description, solving problems by combining logic with intuition. "The humans didn't give us chaos," Zix 427 continued. "They showed us that true order isn't about suppressing complexity, it's about embracing it. Look at their mathematics, their physics. The most fundamental laws of the universe aren't simple geometric shapes. They're beautiful, complex patterns. We thought we were maintaining perfect order, but we were only limiting ourselves to the simplest form of it." The chamber hummed with conflicting frequencies as crystals processed this perspective. Even the most conservative council members couldn't deny the evidence of their own sensors. The crystals influenced by human culture weren't degrading. They were evolving, achieving new forms of excellence that combined the best of both species. Val 891 stood silent for a long moment, their form shifting through various patterns as they processed the situation. Finally, they spoke. Perhaps it is time for the hierarchy itself to evolve." The words sent shockwaves through the chamber. Val 891, the very embodiment of traditional order, was suggesting change. But before anyone could respond, something unprecedented occurred. A young crystal, barely a century old, floated to the center of the chamber. Without asking permission, itself a revolutionary act, they began to create. Their form shifted and changed, light flowing through them in impossible patterns. They were doing something that combined crystalline light shaping with human dance, mathematics with music, order with chaos. One by one, other crystals joined them. The chamber filled with light and harmony as thousands of crystalline beings discovered new ways to express themselves. Even some council members, unable to resist the beauty of the moment, began to participate. On the observation deck, Captain Chen smiled as she watched the transformation below. "Lieutenant Wang," she called to her communications officer, "make a note in the ship's log. Crystalline society reaching breaking point, but instead of shattering, they're refracting, creating something more beautiful than before. And send a message to Earth," she added. "Tell them the cultural exchange program has been surprisingly successful, though we might need to explain why our new allies are requesting the complete collection of Earth's cat videos. For scientific purposes, of course." 1 year after the historic transformation of the crystalline hierarchy, the space around their homeworld sparkled with unprecedented activity. Ships of both human and crystalline design moved in harmony, their paths forming intricate patterns that were both precise and creative. But the most remarkable sight was the massive structure taking shape between their worlds, the Convergence Center, a joint project that embodied the best of both civilizations. Captain Sarah Chen stood in the center's main chamber, now barely recognizable as the former council room. The rigid geometric patterns had been replaced by flowing crystalline structures that seemed to dance with light, while holographic displays showed real-time cultural exchanges between the two species. Remarkable, isn't it? Lux 119 approached, their form now a stunning blend of traditional crystalline structure and creative expression. As the newly appointed Director of Interspecies Relations, they had been instrumental in bridging the gap between human chaos and crystalline order. "I never imagined this when we first made contact," Chen admitted, watching a group of young crystals teaching human children how to shape light into living art. "We thought we were just trying to avoid a fight. Instead, we started a renaissance." The center buzzed with activity. In one section, Human musicians collaborated with crystalline harmonics experts to create entirely new forms of music. In another, scientists from both species worked on technologies that combined human intuition with crystalline precision. The results were revolutionizing everything from space travel to environmental preservation. Have you seen the latest project? Zix 427 asked, joining them. The former administrator now led the newly formed Creative Sciences Division. Their form shifted through a rainbow of colors, a display that would have been considered highly inappropriate a year ago. We're combining human virtual reality technology with our light-shaping abilities. The educational possibilities are endless. A group of human children ran past, laughing as they played with crystalline companions who had shaped themselves into fantastic creatures from Earth's mythology. Nearby, elderly crystals who had once never deviated from their assigned forms were taking art classes from human teachers. Director Lux, a young crystal, approached, vibrating with excitement. The first graduates of the Human Crystalline Cultural Academy are ready for the ceremony. The graduation ceremony was being held in the center's grand amphitheater, a space that seamlessly blended human and crystalline architecture. Hundreds of beings from both species gathered to watch as the first class of cultural ambassadors took their places. First Resonator Val 891, who had chosen to maintain their title while revolutionizing its meaning, began the ceremony. Their once rigid form now flowed with subtle variations, maintaining dignity while embracing change. A year ago, they addressed the gathering. We thought ourselves perfect. We saw human unpredictability as a threat to our order. We were wrong. What we found instead was a different kind of perfection, one that exists not in spite of complexity and change, but because of it. The graduates, both human and crystal, demonstrated their learning. Humans demonstrated mastery of crystalline harmonics, while young crystals performed human dance moves with impossible grace. But the most impressive displays came from their collaborative works, new art forms, technologies and ideas that could only exist through the combination of both species' strengths. Nova 235, now head of the Entertainment and Arts Guild, another unprecedented institution, had prepared a special performance. As the graduates took their places, the entire amphitheater transformed into a living art piece. Crystalline beings shaped light into impossible forms, while human artists added layers of music, color, and story. The result was a performance that brought tears to human eyes and caused crystals to vibrate with new emotions they were still learning to name. Captain Chen felt a tap on her shoulder. It was Lieutenant Wang, holding a datapad. "Captain, you might want to see this. We're getting requests from 12 other species for cultural exchange programs. Apparently, word has spread about our success here." Chen smiled as she watched a young crystal teaching a human child how to shape light, while nearby a human grandmother showed elderly crystals how to knit with beams of energy. "Send them our standard response package," she said. "The one with the cat videos?" Wang asked with a grin. "Of course. After all, you never know what might spark a revolution." In the center of the amphitheater, human and crystalline children played together, creating patterns of light and sound that were neither purely ordered nor purely chaotic, but something wonderfully new. Above them, through the transparent dome, Earth and the crystalline homeworld were both visible, their light intermingling in the space between. "You know," Lux 119 said thoughtfully, their form creating subtle patterns that mimicked human body language. "We spent millennia seeking perfect order, never realizing that the most perfect patterns in the universe are the ones that know how to dance." Chen watched as another group of human ships emerged from jump points, bringing more teachers, artists, and explorers eager to participate in the exchange. Among them were vessels from other human colonies, each bringing their own unique contributions to the growing collaboration. "So," she asked, "ready to help us revolutionize the rest of the galaxy?" Lux 119's form sparkled with what Chen had learned to recognize as laughter. "With creativity, chaos, and cat videos. Would we do it any other way?" As if in answer, The graduates began their final performance, a symphony of light, sound, and movement that represented not just a fusion of two species, but a glimpse of what the entire galaxy could become. It was order and chaos, precision and creativity, tradition and innovation, all dancing together in perfect harmony. And somewhere in the performance, almost hidden in the complexity of it all, was a crystalline representation of a cat playing a keyboard, because some things, it seemed, were truly universal.